Hi YouTube friends, artist Jamari here with a different type of video today. Today I'm going to do a Wild Roots video, but instead of Wild Roots art, it's going to be more Wild Roots gardening. And I just wanted to share some of the process with you of me getting my garden beds and my yard ready for spring. Gardening to me is another beautiful art form, something that I truly enjoy. I grew up in a family that were avid gardeners, whether it was big, huge gardens with vegetables and fruit trees and all of that, or even just small flower gardens. It's something that we really enjoy and I grew up doing. And so now that I have my own home, I want to continue that tradition, plant tons of flowers in the spring so that my yard looks really beautiful throughout the summer. Join me as I just walk you through some of the things that I did to get my beds ready. Exciting feeling and process of the seeds starting to bloom and come up, all my little seedlings that started to pop up, and then what it looked like a short time later. Let's get into it. So here is one microclimate in my yard, my front bed. It gets morning sun, and so I can put a lot more kind of tropical plants and things that wouldn't want to be in the sun all day up here. I've already tilled this area, and those other spots are that darker kind of black looking stuff that you see. That is fertilizer that I'm tilling in by hand. I'm also mixing in any leaf debris that's left over from the leaves that I packed onto my plants over winter to keep them warm. So here I am just mixing that fertilizer in really well by hand. I got my cool handy dandy little garden tool, and I'm also mixing in any leaf debris that's left over. I had taken a lot of the leaves from our big tree there and packed it in this bed to keep everything warm for winter. But you can see here it all mixed up. It looks so rich and beautiful, ready to grow the best plants. Here's the whole section all mixed in with the fertilizer and the leaf debris before I start to plant any seedlings. From drab to fab. Here are some of the seedlings popping up. I was so excited about this. And then some different herbs, a couple different types of lettuce, some rainbow chard, and then some different herbs. And here we're just going to go through a lot of the different seedlings as they started to sprout up through the ground. These are some succulent babies that popped up in a front part that I have. And this asparagus fern survived the winter. We had some really cold temperatures, and a couple of my warmer loving plants died, but that fern stayed alive. In here, just a lot more seedlings that I have planted all about, starting to pop up and bless us with their presence. They're so cute, and it's just so exciting to start to see that action and that movement that spring brings. Because we live in such a go society, sometimes we forget the natural cycles of things, and I feel like it's important to try to participate as much as we can in those natural cycles. What I mean by that is resting during winter, allowing ourselves to recharge, give us time to kind of work on some of those shadow elements and dig deep with our healing and the different things that we need to do so that in spring we can burst forth new and improved and expanded, learn something and have grown from the past season. Here are some seedlings that I started indoors and I was really excited about. This is Tulsi, a really magical herb, some seeds that I got, and I had some basil and tomatoes and different things in there, broccoli. Everything's growing well. This rose bush is busting out. The marigolds are popping up, the poppy and the amaranth. Everything's starting to show its difference in leaves. Everything's just showing color, life, that beauty of spring popping forth. It's so inspiring in so many levels, especially to work with the earth and watch it and participate with its growth. These are my vegetables that I have growing: potato and onion and tulsi and tomatoes and broccoli, just a whole bunch of stuff. All those seedlings that I had started inside are now transplanted and growing, and some other start bulbs that I had. And then here at the end is my lettuce and the herbs that I planted in this container. So thank you for joining me for that video. Just a quick little walkthrough. Isn't it exciting to see all the seedlings starting to pop up, to transplant things that I started in the house outside, see them starting to flourish? This is a totally new environment that I'm growing in. I've lived mostly in really rainy climates. I'm originally from Washington State, the Seattle area, which is very rainy, but things grow really well during the summer season there. And then I lived in Central America for a really long time, which of course is the best place to grow anything. I mean, you could just dash a seed on the ground and it would instantly pop up. That's how fertile and rich the soil is in Central America. Now we live in the desert. It's a totally new experience. We're having to work with microclimates within our yard. We've started a compost pile, but instead of that being the process that I'm used to, we actually have to water it continuously. We have put a pomegranate tree in, which so far is doing really good. And as far as my vegetables and the things that I'm growing in that way, this year I'm doing those in pots, just so I can see how the sun goes. We're gonna have to create some kind of permanent shade structures once we put our raised beds into our actual yard. And so until we're ready to do that, I just wanted to start this year with pots, see how they do, what grows well, how it's gonna work, kind of what areas of our yard are even possible to grow in because the sun is so intense here in the desert. Figure that out before we put in these permanent structures and really invest a lot of time and money. But it's still exciting to see everything popping up and to be able just to have the space to put all the pots and grow and see how things will mature and do in this climate. And try out different things. Already some of the things that I planted last fall, we had some serious frost over the winter, and so it did kill off a couple of those plants, some of my more tropical plants, my bougainvillea and my plumeria. It's all good. It's a learning experience. This is a part of being, a tender of the earth tender. I don't know if that sounds weird, is that we have to see what works. And, when we're exploring different climates and different environments, sometimes it's a learning process. I mean, always it's a learning process. I'm excited to see how this first year goes. I will definitely keep you updated and just kind of keep doing little update videos. I did originally start a whole nother channel for my my garden journey. I got locked out of that channel, and instead of starting another one, I'm just gonna add that to a part of my repertoire for my art. And if it blows up and people are really loving that, then I can separate it at that point. But right now it's just a part of who I am as an artist and some of the things that I love to do. So that's why I also wanted to share that with you, inspire you in any way, even if you're considering gardening. This is some serious urban gardening that I'm doing. So even that is a journey. And like I said, a part of that trial and error process. I do want to share that and just inspire anyone else that might be interested in growing their own food or just growing things in general. Thank you again for joining me. Artist Jamari here with a Wild Roots garden video. Until next time.